All right, so today we're learning about percentages. How are percents related to rates? This is Unit 3, Lesson 10. Unit 3, Lesson 10. Your objective today is to explain the meaning of percentages using dollars and cents as an example, and to create a double number line diagram with percentages on one line and the dollar amounts on the other line. So in your workbook, you're going to open up to page 73. If you do not have your workbook, you can please open up your PDF right here or take notes down on paper. So lesson 10, what are percentages? So first, we're going to find each of these mentally. So let's start with number 1. A sticker costs 25 cents. How many dollars is that? Well, we know that 25 cents is not a full dollar. So I know I always think about, the machines outside of Food Lion where it might have 25 cents and I would put 1 quarter in. And I know that 4 quarters or 25 cents 4 times equals $1, right? So I know that in order to get to 1 full dollar, I would need 4 quarters. To get to that full dollar, right? So 25 cents is equal to 1 quarter or 1/4. Now our second one. A pen costs $1.50. $1.50. How many cents is that? Well, I know that 50 cents is 50 cents, right? Well, $1 is equal to 100 cents. $1 is 100 cents. So I would have 150 cents. That's the symbol for cents. And if you look, that's kind of the same here. We just took the decimal place out. Number 3, how many cents are in $1? Well, we just answered that. $1 is equal to 100 cents. And how many dollars are in 1 cent? Well, we know 1 cent is less than $1, so it's going to be a fraction. Well, I know that $1 is 100 cents, and 1 cent over 100 cents is how many dollars in 1 cent? Is 1 over 100. All right, so let's come here to our first activity, 10.2. We're talking about coins. So if you do not have your workbook, if you would pause the video and just kind of write this table for number 1 down, where you draw this table out right here, because this is important for you to have. So let's look at our coins. We have our penny, our nickel, our dime, our quarter, our $half, and our dollar. Now, you may not be super familiar with the $half and dollar, but they are coins that you can use in the United States. So, how much is the value in cents of 1 penny? Well, 1 penny is 1 cent. You could also write that as 0.01. A nickel is 5 cents or 0.05. A dime, I know a dime is 10 cents or 0.10. Now I want you to think, do you notice a pattern of making my 1 cent turn into a decimal place? So our quarter is 25 cents. So in those machines, if you needed 1 quarter, it's because it's 25 cents. And that is equal to 0.25. Our $half. Well, our $half is half of $1, which is 50 cents. And we write that, how do you think? 0.50. 50 cents. And our dollar is worth 100 cents, or 1.00. Let's switch up my color here. All right, the value of a quarter is 25% of the value of a dollar, because there are 25 cents for every 100 cents. So what that means is, to make $1, I would need 4 quarters, right? 1 quarter, 2 quarter, 3 quarters, 4 quarters. So if I needed to pay $1 for something, I would need 4 quarters. So in our 100 cents of our dollar over here, we have our 25 cent. 25, 25, 25, 25. And that would equal our 100 cents. So the value of a quarter is 25 over 100, or 25%. Let's look at number 2. Write the name of the coin that matches each expression. So when we read each expression, we're going to write which of these coins up here at the top matches it. A, 25% of a dollar. Well, I know 25% of a dollar is 25 over 100, which is our quarter. 1% of a dollar is a 1 over 100, is 1 cent over a dollar, and that is our penny. It can also be written as 0.01, just like our quarter could be written as 0.25. 10% of a dollar. What do you think? Which one is 10% of a dollar? Look back up here at our chart. 10% of a dollar is going to be 10 over 100, or 0.10, which is our dime. 5% of a dollar, we write that as 5 over 100, or 0.05, and that is our nickel. Our nickel. 100% of a dollar. Well, if you have 100% of something, it means you have all of it. We have 100 over 100, which is equal to $1, which is our dollar. Then 50% of a dollar. That is a 50 over 100. Also written as a 0.50. And that is our $half. All right, pause so that you can make sure you are caught up in your notes to where I am at. The value of 6 dimes is what percent of the value of a dollar? The value of 6 dimes. So I know that we have 1 dime. We're going to put our percentage over here. 1 dime is 10%. We know that because we looked up here. Our dime is 10% of a dollar. So draw my table. I like our tables. We've used them a lot. 1 dime is 10%. So now we need to get to 6 dimes. Well, I know that we can cross multiply 10 times 6 because we've done this a lot. Or to get to 1 to 6, I multiplied by 6. So to get from 10 to 6, I multiply. It's going to give me 60%. 6 dimes is 60% of a dollar, or it could be written as 60 over 100. The value of 6 quarters is what percentage of the value of a dollar? So set up your table. So we're going to have our quarter, and we're going to have our percentages. So 1 quarter, we know, is 25%, because there's 4 quarters in a dollar. That's 25%, and a quarter is 25 cents. Well, how many quarters do we have? We have 6. We'll put 6 here. Again, you can cross multiply. 25 times 6 divided by 1. Or we know to get from 1 to 6, we multiplied by 6. So again, 25 times 6. And that gives us 150. You can work it out. Like this, if that is how you need to work it out. Or you can use a calculator for this right now. So 6 quarters is 150% of a dollar, or 150 over 100. All right, let's come to activity 10.3. So turn your page. All right. A dollar coin is worth 100% of the value of a dollar. Here's a double number line that shows this. So we just used our table. Now we're going to look at the double number line. So we have our dollar coin is 100% of a dollar. So here's our value of coins in dollars. So 1 full dollar is 100%. We know that 50%, or half of a dollar, is 50 cents. We know that half of 50% is 25 cents. 25% is 25 cents. And we know that our 3 quarters, or 3 of our 4, is going to be 75 cents. 75% is 75 cents. If we're talking about a single dollar. Now, later on, you'll notice we're going to talk about if this was a different number. But right now, we're just going to use $1. Now, let's look ahead. So if this is 25 cents, 50 cents, 75 cents, and $1, what would come right here? Well, I see my 75 turns into 75 cents. Well, my my 125 turns into $1.25. And my 150% turns into $1 plus 50% more, which is 50 cents. Make sure you're kind of following along with me. The coins in Jada's pockets are worth 75% of a dollar. How much are they worth in dollars? So we know that she has 75% of a dollar, which is 75 over 100. So she has 75 cents. Now, if you think back to when you were learning about decimal places, our decimal places, right? We all know we have the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place. So this would be like the threes in the hundreds place. Then we had 2 in the tens place, and then our ones in the ones place. And then when we add that decimal place, we have our tenths. So if I put like a 4 here, that would be 4 tenths. If I put a 5, that would be 5 hundredths. And our next decimal place would be the thousandths. So the 6 would be in the thousandths. But today we're really going to focus on just the tenths and the hundredths place. So we have our hundredths place is 5. And our tenths place is 7, which is 75 cents. Elena has 3 quarters and 5 dimes. What percent of a dollar does she have? So we know that she has 3 quarters, right? And I know that 3 quarters, each quarter is worth 25 cents. And I'm going to multiply that by 3 because she has 3 of them. Well, 3 quarters is 75 cents, right? So we know that she has 75 cents. Then she has 5 dimes, right? And each dime is worth 10 cents. And she has 5 of them. Well, I know that that is 50 cents. Well, when I add up 75 and 50 cents, I'm going to get $1.25. $1.25, if we were going to put it over 100, because we added 1, 2, that means our 2 zeros, is 125%. It's 125%. It's not $1.25%, it's 125%. You got to remove that decimal place when you place it over the 100. All right, let's look at number 2. The coins in Diego's pocket are worth 150% of a dollar. How much are they worth in dollars? Well, I know that 125 is $1.25. You might be able to quickly reason that the 150 is $1.50. Because 100% of a dollar is $1, right? And then we'd have 50% left, which is 50 cents. So it is worth $1.50. So let's look at our lesson summary. Our lesson summary. We're talking about percentages. Well, earlier up here we had our dollar, right? Well, now this is showing us is if we're talking about percentages of $10 using a double number line. So if we have our $10 and 100% of our $10 is 100%. So if you have $10 and you have 100% of your $10, then you have $10. Now what if you gave half away? That's 50%. We're going to give half or 50% away. That's $5. Just like our $1 went to 50 cents, our $10 goes to $5. Then we can do the same thing. If you then had $5 and cut that in half again, now that's 25% of the $10 you had, you would have $2.50. Now let's say you had $10 and we decided that with your $10, I'm going to give you 50% more. Well, I know that 50% is $5. Well, 50% more would be $10 plus 50% more, which is $5. You would jump to $15. So when you're looking at these double number lines, you can see that $5 is 50% or half. That's 1/2 or 50%. It's half of or 50% of $10. You can also notice that $12.50 is 125% of $10, because if you had 125%, right down here, that is, when we talked earlier, we talked about $1 would be $1.25, right? But if we had $10 times 125%, it comes to be $12.50. All right, so what you're going to notice today is you do not have a cooldown to turn in, and there is no zern. But there is, oh no, I take that back. There is a cooldown. There is our practice problems. So this is not a grade in the grade book. However, I really, really, really suggest you do it, because it's going to make sure that you understand this. So if you click right here, it's going to open up our practice problems. And what you're going to notice here is it's done in a quiz format, but it is not a quiz. It is a practice quiz. And by it being a practice quiz, it's just a few questions. So your practice problems on page 77 through 79, you're going to complete them. Now, what I want you to do is complete them in your workbook first. If you don't have your workbook, you can easily use our workbook right here that we have digitally. And you're going to complete these problems. Then you're going to take your time, and you're going to enter them in our quiz right here. Again, you're not going to have to put the percentage sign, but let's look at number 1. What percentage of $1 is the value of each coin combination? So 4 dimes right here. We know 1 dime is 10%, right? Because 1 dime is 10 cents. So 4 dimes would be 10 times 4, or 40%. For B, 1 nickel and 3 pennies. Well, if you remember earlier, we did our nickel is 0.05 or 5 cents. And we only have one of those. Times 1 is 0.05. And 3 pennies. So that's 0.01 for a penny times 3 is going to be 0.03. Well, when we add these together, we get 0.08. 0.08 or 8%. Because our percentages, 0.08 over 100, remove that, is 8%. Then we have our 5 quarters, 25 cents times 5 is going to be 125, plus our 1 dime, which is 10 cents, which comes out to be 135 or $1.35. In this case, it's actually 135%. No decimal place. So you can work out number 2, 3, and 4. I'd like you to look at some of these others as well, because they are really good practice. Then you're going to put them into our questions here. Question 2, question 3, question 4. And submit. You can do this as many times as you want until you get the right answer to make sure you understand. So to enter it, you would put 40%, no decimal place. Remember, our 1 nickel and 3 pennies was 8%. and our 5 quarters and 1 dime was 135. Then you'll hit Submit Quiz. Make sure you've answered all of them, and then you will see if you got the answer correct. If it's unanswered or red, then you need to go back and fix it. Again, you can do this as many times as you would like. You can hit Resubmit. All right. There is no Zern for today, so do your best and submit the work that we have, and I will see you tomorrow live in our class.